Let's talk about the New York City mayoral primary. Yesterday, we had the Democratic mayoral primary in New York City and the Republican mayoral primary in New York City. There were high hopes among some that former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang would do well in the Democratic primary New York City mayoral race. He came out to a fast start, polling really, really well in early polls, although that started to fade. Part of the belief that the fade of Andrew Yang was because of early name recognition. He jumped ahead because of early name recognition from the Democratic primary. Also questions about, I guess we would call it the authenticity of Andrew Yang as a New Yorker. And there were all sorts of kind of xenophobic overtones to that. There is no question that there was an aspect of the opposition to accepting Andrew Yang as a real New Yorker came from some anti-Asian xenophobia. And also there was the sense that Andrew Yang, having lived out of the city for a long time, was not a real New Yorker in that sense as well, disaggregating some xenophobia from the accurate understanding of Andrew Yang's residence, a complicated and difficult thing, and important not to invalidate any aspect of that because all of it were important aspects. All of those aspects were relevant, but ultimately it did not go well for Andrew Yang. The results as we have them right now have Eric Adams leading. It is a ranked choice election. And right now you have Eric Adams leading at just shy of 32% on the Democratic side, with Maya Wiley close to 10 points behind at 22%. Catherine Garcia closely behind Maya Wiley in third place at 19.5%. And then pretty significantly further down with only about a third of the support of the leading candidate, Eric Adams, Andrew Yang at 11.7%. Scott Stringer and Dianne Morales combining for just shy of 8%. Over on the Republican side, Curtis Sliwa, quite a well-known face and figure in New York City now for decades, of course, of Guardian Angels fame. Curtis Sliwa easily winning the Republican primary with about 72% of the vote over Fernando Mateo. Here is a video of Andrew Yang, who is all about math and the numbers, rightly coming out last night and saying, I don't have the numbers. I simply don't have the numbers. Take a listen to this.
Campaign. But you all know I am a numbers guy.
Right.
I'm someone who traffics in what's happening by the numbers. And I am not going to be the next mayor of New York City based upon the numbers that have come in tonight.
Right.
I am conceding this race, though we're not sure ultimately who the next mayor is going to be, but whoever that person is, I will be very happy to work with them. Campaign.
Now, a bunch of people coming out and saying, you know, what pomposity from Andrew Yang. Why would the eventual mayor work on anything with the fourth place finisher in the Democratic primary? I didn't see it that way. I saw it simply as an act of good faith. I don't think that is a big deal. I think the more interesting story, however, is how New York City is an interesting place in that the voters really did not seem to care about the name recognition of Andrew Yang. It helped him early, but it did not carry him to the finish line. And now we are going to see the general election get going. New York City, interesting as it's not necessarily a barometer nationally, but there are a lot of things in New York City that relate to issues that many cities across the country are dealing with. There are questions now about how to deal with what are widely perceived to be short term, but certainly upticks in certain types of crime. And later today, Joe Biden is going to have a big event related to gun violence. There are also questions about, you know, there's been a sort of bifurcation at the local and semi-local level about how politics should be focused in the United States. There are all these national issues and cultural issues that are getting a lot of attention when you watch Fox News and CNN and MSNBC. And there have been attempts to insert those as the important issues into local races. In some places, to a degree, it's worked, where local races become about, will the city council boycott Israel? Or Will we make a statement about critical race theory as examples? But what I am seeing in New York City is that voters really seem to care much more about local economic issues, local issues of public transit and rent prices, and really that nitty gritty, which takes me back to the James Carville 1990s perspective of it's the economy, stupid. It's not seeming to me like making local races about national, cultural, or even irrelevant to the local race foreign policy issues. That seems to be coming through in the results that we're seeing in New York City. So we're going to follow the race, even though it's a local race, because it has a lot of national implications. Let me know your thoughts about what happened to Andrew Yang in New York City. I laid out what I think held him back. Let me know what you think. You can find me on Twitter at @Pakman. We're going to take a quick break, and we've got really just a packed program for you today. During the pandemic, and even at this point, I try to avoid physically visiting a doctor's office unless I really have to. And that's why I love our sponsor, SteadyMD Primary Care. You take a quiz, you get matched with a licensed primary care physician who's a good fit for you. You have a 1-hour virtual appointment, and you start a meaningful relationship with your new doctor. After that, your doctor is available to you anytime by text, phone, and video chat. And unlike other services, this isn't some random doctor on call. Each doctor at SteadyMD has a limited number of patients, so they can give you the personal attention you deserve. They can help you with anything your primary care doctor normally would: healthy diet, managing conditions, weight loss, sleep, depression, anxiety. You don't need insurance. It's just $99 a month with absolutely no other fees or copays for visits. Take the free quiz and see which doctor is a perfect fit for you. Go to steadymd.com/Pakman. There's no risk, no long-term commitment. The link is right underneath this video.